Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the most, if not the most popular Sonic the Hedgehog character. But why? Today we are going to be discussing that and so much more. Hello everyone, I'm OCDsaster and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel. That's right, all the content you see on this channel is Sonic the Hedgehog only. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already if you want to see more Sonic videos like this. And thank you so much to my reoccurring viewers and subscribers. I really do appreciate the support I have been getting on this channel. It really does mean a lot to me. This year has been dubbed the era of Shadow the Hedgehog for the Sonic community, and it's more of a branding campaign tool for Sega, but that's what it's called because we have Sonic X Shadow Generations coming out very soon, October 25th to be exact, and then at the end of the year in December, we have the Sonic Movie 3, which has Shadow the Hedgehog in it, so it makes sense that they themed this year around Shadow the Hedgehog. Like I said before, Shadow is one of the most, if not the most popular Sonic character aside from Sonic himself. But why is that? Did he deserve this, or was it all just a fluke, a plant? Did the creators of Shadow the Hedgehog condition us to think that he's cool? Well, we're going to discuss that right now. Shadow the Hedgehog has been known to the world for 23 years. He debuted in a game called Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast in 2001 and then later ported over to the GameCube known as Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Shadow became a household name just like Sonic when Sonic Adventure 2 came out and stapled him in as an iconic Sonic character. So much so that, spoilers for Sonic Adventure 2, he actually dies at the end, but the creators just couldn't keep him down for long because fans wanted to see him back so badly. And so, throughout the years, he's shown up in many more Sonic games and spin-offs, and even got his very own title in 2005. So what makes the ultimate life form so cool? Well, I alluded to this earlier, but I actually think it is a little bit of manipulation. When you complete stages in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow will actually say, "I'm the coolest." If you're like me, a kid at the time playing this game, constantly replaying levels and playing as Shadow, and this is something you keep hearing over and over again, you're going to be conditioned to believe, yeah, Shadow is cool, because I'm playing as him, that makes me cool as well. Shadow really is the coolest. But all jokes aside, there are a lot of things that make Shadow stand out as being a very cool character design, not only in the Sonic franchise, but in video game franchises as a whole. He definitely is the juxtaposition to Sonic. Whereas Sonic is more obnoxious with his can-do, go-at-it, happy attitude, Shadow is very much more reclusive and emo. He is cool, and yes, he does state that he is indeed the coolest, but he also doesn't boast too much when he's around other characters, and seems often annoyed and standoffish when interacting with others. Now, Shadow's personality wouldn't be as impactful if he didn't have well-written history behind his personality. You see, the writers actually knew what they were doing when writing Shadow and realized he's standoffish and reclusive because of his traumatic past that led him to this. This is how normal people are. They are their personalities, yes, but most of the time that's shaped over the years based off of their past experiences in the life journey that they are on. James Gunn is a director and writer that comes to my mind when thinking about character-driven moments and personalities, because a lot of his characters act like an a-hole or a d-bag, but there's a reason behind it. His character Rocket or Peacemaker, once you peel back the layers of what's happened to them in their past, you realize, oh, they're this way because of what happened to them. And the same goes for Shadow. First off, Shadow has been put to sleep for about 50 years. 50 years has passed since a tragic incident in his life, and he's just kind of been sleeping through all of it. So there's going to be some bitterness once he comes back into the world. So he's bitter, but he's also very angry because his one and only friend, Maria, was slain by the gun soldiers. And so his whole mission, his whole goal in life to protect her, has been gone. He has no purpose. He's now in this world that he doesn't want to be in, that was cruel and evil to the one person that he cared about, who was not a bad person. And so he's also learning to himself that there's no point in making positive, fun friends and connections, because that's just a weakness and you could lose them at any time. When you think about it, it really is tragic and very dark for a children's Sonic game nonetheless. And like I said, it's a perfect juxtaposition for Sonic, who has a bunch of friends, who's very bright, very positive. He has that can-do attitude. Shadow can do. He has the very, he's the best kind of mentality, but he keeps it to himself. And like I said, he keeps everyone at an arm's length because he doesn't want to get close to anybody because of what's happened in the past. What happened to Maria is a core tragedy that really shapes him to his standoffishness, his lack of emotion, so his stoicness, and definitely his anger that he has in moments of various Sonic games and media. And I think the best part of this juxtaposition was actually from the trailer for Sonic Movie 3. The first trailer was so good at narrating through the differences between Sonic and Shadow. The Gun Commander talks about it and is like, Sonic, where you found friends and loved ones, Shadow only found pain. That really, really was a good way of putting it and showing it, and I hope they really dive into that for the movie, because that's what makes Shadow cool. If he was just standoffish and quiet just because he wanted to be different from everyone else in the group, that's kind of like poser, lame attitude and behavior. But he's like this because of what he's been through, because of that pain, the suffering, the sorrow, and the sadness. It also helps that his design is really awesome. It's not just a complete color switch from Sonic. Sonic is mostly just basic primary colors in the sense of he's got blue quills, blue body, he's got a little bit of tan in there, and then his shoes are red, white with a little bit of gold. That's it. Shadow has a few of those elements still in. That's similar to Sonic with the white, the red, the gold. He also has gold rings and stuff like that. However, he's not just one color in the quills and the body. He's completely black, but then he also has red highlights and these little corners to his eyes and his quills, and he's got like a more like hairy, puffy, fluffy, furry chest. I don't like saying that. So look-wise, he's not just a copy of Sonic. He has some extra flair, some extra personality to him. Then on top of that, his power set, his move set is different than Sonic's. Yes, he can run just like Sonic, and his play style in the games is similar to the Sonic stages. However, there's some distinct differences, especially in later games as you play as Shadow and learn more about his backstory. He has hover skates, so he's actually not as fast as Sonic. Sonic's still faster than Shadow in that regard. When it comes to running, it's his hover skates that kind of help him. However, what Shadow has over Sonic that makes him debatably cooler is his mastery of chaos control. Sonic can also do chaos control, but Shadow seems to be the absolute master behind it, along with Chaos Blast, Chaos Sphere, and some other cool little things that he does with the Chaos powers in the Sonic universe. So that's where he has an edge over Sonic and can be just as good as Sonic, is because he's, dashing around, teleporting around, throwing light spheres. It's really, really cool to see, and it's visually different than Sonic, who's kind of just running and doing flips and homing attacks. The voice work is also great, because whereas Sonic is higher and very more like, ha, yeah, let's do it, Shadows is lower and just like, what does this guy think he is? And it's just a really good kind of difference between the two characters. Their energies clash, but in a different way when on screen, or like in the game, I should say. So it works really well, and I think from what I've seen so far in the trailers for Sonic Movie 3, it seems like they really got that down with Keanu Reeves voicing, Shadow, and Ben Schwartz voicing Sonic. They're at completely different ranges when it comes to voice acting and tone, and it really works well on screen, it seems. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, Shadow was kind of cool, but now isn't it kind of like a meme how emo he is? And isn't there always these memes of him, like, doing this, that, and the other thing? It's just like a really, like, emo, like, label or caption, and everyone's kind of, like, making fun of it ironically. And the answer is yes, but that's because of the Shadow the Hedgehog game that I said came out in 2005. I have a love-hate relationship with the Shadow the Hedgehog game. As a kid, I absolutely loved playing this game. I thought I was the coolest, biggest guy on the street. I wanted to go and just beat people up because in the Shadow the Hedgehog game, you had this rock music going for the intro. All of Me is one of the best time Sonic game openings ever. I know it's technically not a Sonic game, but you know what I mean. You have this opening cinematic of these dark aliens coming down, destroying the streets. You have gun soldiers firing at them, but then Shadow's attacking both sides, and then you see him basically kill Sonic on screen to open the shot, to open him jumping at the screen, and then title card. Then you're at the menu, and it's literal gunshots when you're selecting stuff on the menu. They really went overboard on trying to make Shadow as cool and edgy as possible. And as like a 10, 11-year-old, it worked from a marketing standpoint. Like, am I not supposed to be playing this game? Like, is mom and dad going to walk in at any minute and be like, what the heck are you playing? You're thinking it's GTA or something. Because as a kid, I wasn't allowed to play M games or even T games. This game was E10 when that was still a rating. I don't even know if that's around anymore. So this was the closest to like violence and guns on humans I ever really got to experience for a while. The only other thing would be like Star Wars games, but that was like against droids and stuff at the time. So this was a big deal for me, and I felt very cool running down as Shadow, getting alien guns or human guns, shooting both aliens and humans, feeling like an absolute complete degenerate. Also, there was curse words in there. Shadow was saying damn and hell, and it was just like they really wanted to market towards my demographic, and it worked. But then it's like you grow up and you realize, one, the game isn't that great. The gameplay is not that good. Two, the story makes Shadow's backstory very convoluted and very confusing and much less simple than the original. And it was simple but good. You know, Maria dies, the Ark, Professor Gerald, yada, 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 yada. But now they add Black Doom into his backstory. They do some retcon stuff. And then you have all of this just glorious violence for no reason. Shadow's edgier than ever. He's saying the most emo things out there, and that's when the memes start rolling in, because when you look back at it retrospectively, it's like, okay, yeah, they kind of messed this up. And then after Shadow the Hedgehog, I think Shadow kind of took a dive in not popularity, but in Sega and Sonic Team really like bringing him to the forefront. Yes, he was a character that was playable in Sonic 06, but when that movie tanked and bombed so badly when it came out in 2006, they kind of just shelved all the ideas for Shadow there and kind of pivoted and moved far, far, far away from what they had going for Sonic 06. And even in Sonic 06, Shadow was like still on this real edgelord kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of where his reputation kind of took a nosedive, but they're slowly building that back. And I really think with this upcoming game, Sonic X Shadow Generations, they can really show off the real Shadow that we all love and know. He's edgy, but he's not trying too hard to be edgy. He just is. There's a difference between trying to be edgy and just being edgy. So I think that's a key part here, is he just needs to be Shadow, and then we will determine whether or not he'll be cool. They also need to do that perfectly in the Sonic movie 3, otherwise it's going to come off very cheesy and people are going to make fun of it. So hopefully they don't give him too many cringe lines. I don't think they will, but I'm praying, I'm hoping, and we'll see where this character goes from here. We also have Dark Beginnings, anime that should be coming out very soon, I'm hoping. The game's about to come out, and it's the prologue to Sonic X Shadow Generations. So hopefully that sets the tone for what kind of Shadow we're looking at, his psyche, his personality, how they're going to, incorporate that into future Sonic games. Because I think if this takes off, and also if the movie takes off, which I think it will, Shadow's going to be showing up a lot more in Sonic content. He hasn't been lately in more recent Sonic games, so I think they're going to bring him back into the fold, and hopefully we get like a Sonic Adventure 3 with him in it, or like he's in Sonic Frontiers 2, or heck, he gets a sequel to the Shadow the Hedgehog game. I don't know if they'll go that far, but that would be very cool to see. He's such a cool character, I think, still to this day, even with the memes. What do you guys think? Do you think Shadow is still cool? He's literally the shadow of Sonic, but sometimes I think he overshines Sonic in the spotlight for coolest character. I just really like his design. I really like his backstory, his personality matching that backstory, that tragedy. And I just really hope we can see Shadow go in an upward trajectory of popularity, of coolness, of great narrative writing, and just really see what they can do with the future of this character. I'm OCDsaster, and I want to thank you so much if you got to the end of this video. I appreciate it so much. Be sure to like if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel for more Sonic content. Have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya.